It continues. My battle with technology and Instagram is continuing. But here we are. This is In Other News. Thanks for hanging out. I am your host, Mike Russell, and let's get down to business, shall we? And what was it? That was an Eminem song. Yeah, let's get down to business. I don't have time. Something. What is this? Something. Can I get a witness? Hell yeah. That's all I remember from the song. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. I did tell you that we would start with a certain topic, and I'm going to start with that topic. I really am. Because I made that promise to you that I would start with that topic, and I'm going to start with that topic. But CNN had to go have a town hall. What in the sweet baby Jesus was that all about? Is that why Kamala took 2 days off? Because she had to do a town hall with CNN? She needs those 2 days back. She needs to, like when I went to see Beetlejuice 2, I need that hour and 44 minutes of my life back. Kamala needs those 2 days of her campaign back, because if that's why she took off, we're going to get to that in just a moment. Rhonda, Jim, thanks for hanging out. Everybody over on the gram, Brooke, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And you guys are Robert, good to see you. And let's play this game, because yesterday I wanted to talk about something very important, but we will get to Kamala, I promise. Yesterday, JD Vance, his podcast aired, where he is asked about something very important and near and dear to my heart. I want you to play along. Check it out.
Have real prices and transparency in healthcare, knowing that it's exactly what America needs, so that our healthcare system will be honest and affordable and accessible.
Yeah. Well, you're right.
Okay. So let's a wonderful question, and something that we should be talking about at length, which is honesty in medical billing and in transparency in medical billing. I have had not one, but 2 brain surgeries. I have had not one, but 3 hernia surgeries. So I'm a mess. And let me tell you something, $85 for a box of tissue, of which I had one, is a little silly. Okay. I would have rather sent one of the interns down to CVS to get some tissues if I knew that I or my insurance was going to be billed $85 for a box of tissue, that I had one. What is going on here is absolutely atrocious. And what was asked, and I think is fantastic what was asked. What was asked? I'm sorry, there's some YouTube issues going on. So, okay, so you guys, Jim and Rhonda, thanks for working that out. I appreciate you guys. The problem that I have with all of this, even more so than insurance companies scamming, hospital scamming, and all of that, the problem I have with it is that this was promised to be handled. We were promised that this would be handled with Obamacare, were we not? We were promised that there would be transparency in medical billing, that people wouldn't be using the emergency rooms. I'm not getting into I was very close to going into a rant about Obamacare, but I'm going to put it this way. The things that we are being promised, if you elect me, if you just vote for me, over the past few cycles, are things when it comes to medical billing and medical anything, was supposed to be handled with Obamacare. And if I hear a Democrat say one more time, well, the Republicans gutted Obamacare, they didn't gut Obamacare. Obamacare ran up the rates, literally ran up the rates. It was insurance reform. It ran up the rates. I said I wouldn't go down a rabbit hole. I'm going. It ran up the rates on all of us for insurance. And this is one of the reasons why. So let's see what JD has to say about this, because I think it's important to look into it. Let's see what JD.
Right, that we should have it, and the reason that we don't is unfortunately because there are a lot of powerful people who get rich off of keeping these things secret.
Amen, brother.
So they don't want transparency. They don't want sunshine.
You can say Chuck Schumer if you want.
And it is Chuck Schumer.
I won't say it.
Well, I mean, look, you're right, though. Like, obviously, Bernie and I are on the same team politically, but there are some healthcare things like price transparency where actually I think he and President Trump are both right that there's.
I'm sorry. Wait a second. Did that guy just did he just talk about the other guys? Did he just say that Bernie and I don't agree ideologically, but there's some things that we can get down on and we can really help the American people? Okay, I'm in. I'm all about it. Let's go. Keep it going. Sure. Yeah, I think I like this guy.
Nothing that I mean, you go to Starbucks, right? You buy coffee. You know how much you're getting. You know how much it's costing you. I remember when my wife, I think it was her second baby.
And by the way, JD, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to say JD Vance is wrong there. In my normal daily jaunt for Starbucks cold brew, it could be $5.25 one time, $6.15 the next time, $5.75 the next time. I don't know how much it costs. It's kind of weird. I think they're doing surge pricing, but I need to ask. We'll get back to that in a moment. Here we go. JD Vance.
Where you get like pain medications when you're delivering a baby, at least most people do, because it's like a very painful experience.
Yeah.
And there was some weird thing where the doctor that she chose was out of network.
Yeah.
And she didn't realize, I mean, you're not checking whether the doctor's in network at the time,
Yeah,
right? You're just sort of choosing a doctor. Yeah. And then we come home and we have like a $15,000 unexpected bill.
Correct.
Because she chose the wrong doctor an hour before she delivers a baby. And it's like, this is totally crazy. And we're in a situation where that was not a big deal for us. We were able to afford it. But think about like a normal middle-class family goes and has a baby and comes home to a medical bill that's like a fifth of their entire take-home pay that year, right? That's crazy.
Oh, the number one cause of bankruptcy in America is medical debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly end of life.
Huge problem. And I think the price transparency is a big part of it.
How do we not have?
I agree with him in that. And so, by the way, end of life care is probably the biggest expense. End of life care is just absolutely absurd. Lynn asked, why does insurance pay so much for tissues? Well, they pay so much for tissues because they essentially have to. That's what the hospital is going to charge them. So it's hospital billing to insurance companies that is absolutely screwing everyone in this. And there's so many things that go along in the medical world that's screwing us as a country. But damn, Obamacare didn't fix any of those. But I love that JD Vance is the kind of guy to be like, hey, listen, I can work with Bernie on this. There's a lot of things that need to be done here. But unfortunately, and as he said, and this isn't the quiet part out loud anymore, we know this. It's the party, the Republicans or the Democrats, that join on with we're going to say the quiet part out loud now because we're representing you, is the first to take all power. I'm telling you, the one party that pops out and says, hey, listen, I'm going to open the books. I'm going to say what we've been doing for 50 years and how we've completely screwed you over for our own power, our own gain, our own wealth. Elect me. That person wins in a landslide. That person wins in a landslide. I had this conversation with Queen Bee last night. I said, look, I'm not necessarily voting for Donald Trump. I'm voting for Donald Trump's policies that he had for 4 years. And I'm voting for Tulsi, Elon, and RFK Jr. That's what I'm voting for. I'm voting for a Republican to get 3 Democrats. How about that? Yeah. You want to vote for a Democrat to get the continued most diverse cabinet in history, just to have that on your resume and your LinkedIn profile instead of who's qualified? Yeah. And someone in the right can agree on somebody. Look, we can agree on a lot of things. Yeah. And by the way, Lynn, I got to tell you, and that was part of my conversation with Queen Bee last night. He said Access sucks ass too. Here's the deal. Access, I had to be on for a brief period back in 2008 when I lost everything in real estate. I was on Access for a very brief period of time. It was fantastic. And by the way, there's 6 states, I'll put the other finger up, sorry. 6 states that have Access. We're one of them. That's a huge thing to be proud of. I'm very proud of that. I love any social service that is treated as a bridge loan or gap financing for your life. We know, as we the people, I think we all have agreed, hey, listen, life happens. Sometimes sucky things happen in life. How about we take care of each other in that time? Just for that time that they have that they need to get back on their feet, we're in. It's the people that are living on it that's a whole different ballgame. Yes. Ron, yeah, maybe a door greeter at Walmart for Kamala Harris. I don't even think she's qualified for that. After what we're about to see, she's not qualified for that. As a matter of fact, I had okay. Let's see, Shelly, what you got here? Hold on a second, please. No, Bernie, filter Bernie. Yeah, no one likes him. No one does like Bernie, and Bernie, by the way, looks like he doesn't bathe a lot. I mean, look at that. Okay, let's just call it what it is, or at least me, from my observations of watching several DNCs and RNCs. The conventions, it's a marketable difference. A marketable difference, excuse me, in dress between the RNC and the DNC. I'll just put it that way. I watched the DNC. I'm like, is deodorant a thing? We're not a thing. Shampoo, not a thing. Hair product? I mean, just throw some water in the hair. Just kind of act like it. Just pretend. Oh. Yeah, okay. I love that. Thank you, Rhonda, for sharing that. That's wonderful that you would share that. I love that. I was lucky to have had insurance and access when I had my son. I was doing it all alone. God bless you. And I encourage Republicans and conservatives to step up and say these things. Say things like this. Like, it's great that we have social programs. I love Medicare, Medicaid. I love SNAP. I love WIC. I love all of that to get people by when they need it. Right? Other than that, I go with the Michael Jackson. Right? If you can't feed the baby, yeah, then don't have a baby, yeah. That's where I'm at with that. That's just where I'm at with that. But I love social services. I think they're fantastic as gap financing for the people that need it, for we the people that need it. And when I say we the people, I'm going to say this very bluntly. United States citizens that need it. Because we paid into it. It's insurance. We pay into all of that as our own insurance. When I was booted from iHeart, I would immediately, I'm like, dude, yep, give me my whatever, $200 a week or whatever the hell it is for unemployment. I'm like, I paid that insurance. So I'm going to take that. Hell yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Disability is that bad. Well, yeah. So Lynn, I understand that. What I'm saying is that the fact that we have it in 44 states don't have it is pretty rad that we have it here, is what I'm trying to say, buddy. I hope you don't take that as me disparaging what you were saying or your experiences with access. I'm glad it's here. I'm really glad it's here. Yeah, and Rhonda says I love social programs for help, not to keep people down. Unfortunately, most social programs are designed to keep people on it. Oh, because that's what Lyndon Baines Johnson said, didn't he? Yeah, LBJ did say that. He said, we're going to sign the New Deal, and the N-word, he used the N-word, hard R, N-word, will not vote Republican for another 60 years. And he was correct. That entire system was meant, that entire piece of legislation was meant to keep an entire race of people, 2, in fact, 3, in fact, down and voting Democrat because they relied on the Democrats. Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, the social programs were meant to be, yes, Ron, I agree. They were meant to be a hand up, not a handout. Amen, brother. I appreciate you saying that. And unfortunately, guys, I don't know how to take Instagram quotes and put them up on the screen here, but I can do that on the other platforms. So just I will recognize you as we move forward. But hey, anyway, it's good to have somebody asking real questions and having a real damn answer, isn't it? Isn't that nice? Holy, not what we saw. I had a few things I wanted to talk about today, and we might get around to them. So let's see. Brendan said, I got rejected from Arizona unemployment after getting laid off from a tech company because the company cited bonuses already. Oh, those evil bastards. Oh, they take the bonuses in on that? Oh, my. Oh, but the cool thing is, though, Brendan, you weren't missing out on much. I think Arizona unemployment's at like $1.75 a week or something like that. It's absolutely embarrassing. It truly, truly is. Like I said, I had a lot to talk about. I wanted to get into several things today, including the what was something that's very near and dear to my heart when I talk about tomorrow, if we can, is what a Harris Walz, what a Trump Vance administration looks like for sportsmen, outdoorsmen, our Second Amendment rights, and things like that, and kind of the interviews that I've seen about such things. So I wanted to get to that, and then I said, wait a second, what happened? What? They let her do a town hall? They let Kamala Harris do a town hall with it's with Anderson Cooper. Oh, the guy who used to be so good. Oh, Anderson Cooper used to be amazing. He was. And he was a dude that didn't have to work. His mommy's Gloria Vanderbilt. For love of grief, he has no reason to work. He's a bazillionaire. But he did, and he was fantastic. Remember him from Channel 1? I mean, back in the day, like all the way up, dude was a hardworking, just he was fantastic. I'll just put it that way. And then CNN decided, we totally screwed up putting Trump on air every single day of the 2016 election, and we have to hate him now. And he said, okay. And he sold his soul. So here's what happened. So the town hall happens. It's Anderson Cooper. And I watched the thing. And I'm like, holy crap. Anderson's kind of being Anderson right now. And that's a sign of a couple of things, I would say. The first is maybe journalism ain't dead. Maybe the journalists that have participated in a couple of the biggest shams ever thrown at the United States citizens in the response from COVID, and Joe Biden being intelligent and lucid, and maybe they understand putting Kamala in there and circumventing the democratic part of our representative republic. Because I know Rhonda was going to jump on me with that one. I know, Rhonda. We are not a democracy. I get it, but we have a democratic process to our representative republic, okay? Because we democratically elect a representative. All right. Yeah. Kamala's platform is definitely, Shelley, he's talking about Trump because I think she's crushing on Trump. I think she is. Yeah, I mean, she's got to go home and look at Dougie and go, you're no Trump. Yeah. She goes home to that spineless dude. I mean, he's got money, but he's no Trump. No Donald Trump. Anyway, they let this woman do it. They let this woman do a town hall. I'm blown away by this. I had dinner last night with the liberal wing of my tribe, and it was a lovely dinner. I ordered a chef salad, Cobb salad. What is it? Wasn't it with eggs and turkey and all that? Yeah. I ordered one of those. Ton of ranch, right? That's me. I want a bunch of ranch. And so I ordered that. It came back with like balsamic on it, but I just ate through it. I'm like, I'm dealing with the liberal wing of my tribe is what they eat. So I actually talked to the patriarch for the liberal wing of my tribe. It's very Kamala Harris supporter. And I said, are you going to watch this? Are you going to watch this? He said, no. This morning, after watching it, I said, did you see it? He goes, no. He said, I would rather dance with the devil I don't know than the devil I do know. And so I had a little kind of smack back at it and say, by the way, we know this devil. We, the people, know both devils. We do. In this scenario, we know both of them. Because both of them had 4 years to show us what they were going to do and wherever they were going to take our country. So it was fairly easily. Hi, Queen Bee. It's okay. You can just kind of stroll in here. Queen Bee brought Wetzel's Pretzels. Oh, God love you. Just you're doing God's work. I swear. She brought Wetzel's Pretzels right here into the studio. The heart shape right here. All right, I'll stop talking about her and us at dinner last night. I'll stop talking about that. Hi, kid. So anyway, I was absolutely shocked that this happened. Again, had an entire show planned for today, and then, damn it, this happened. And I'm thinking, okay, well, we got to talk about it because it makes sense. Yeah. Oh yeah. So Michael asked if you brought some for the rest of the class. Just for me? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's right. That's right. See? Ha ha! Oh, my day just got so much better. What is this? There's a lot going on in here. Hold on a second. She said I ate some. All right. I'm not going to chew on these during the show here, but yes, we have some for the rest of the class. Yeah, and correct, Rhonda. I do not share. I don't share. No, you can ask again. Back when I was a chubby bunny and I ate about a pint of ice cream a day, Haagen-Dazs, all this stuff. Oh hell, there's only one Ben and Jerry's flavor I really, really liked, and that was New York Super Fudge Chunk. The rest was Haagen-Dazs. But I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to share. I want to share with my kids. Share. Come on. I'm going to share Wetzel's pretzels. We're crazy. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. What's wrong got going on over here? Back to the 1960s as far as racial division goes. Wasn't that funny, though, Ron? It was actually funny that he was giving a speech yesterday. I don't know if he caught it. And unfortunately, if I knew you would have made that comment, I would have had it ready to go for us. But he's, I don't know how the hell we got to all this division. I don't know. Well, maybe Michelle will tell me how we got all this division as a country. I was like, dude, you lit the fuse. I mean, the fuse was created prior to, but that dude just went snap and got lit. That's funny. What's that? Oh, come on, man. Where are you guys going with this? Yes, elitism. You're darn right. Yes, I'm elite with my newfound quarry of Wetzel's pretzels. That's right. So anyway, let's get to this. For the love of grief, they allowed this woman to take 2 days off, and then we went into a town hall with Anderson Cooper, who was supposed to be, quite literally, was supposed to be friendly territory, friendly confines. This was a home court game. It's easy. Yes. It wasn't. Let's get into it.
Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a
Look at that look right there. Y'all want you to see that look. Men, you've all seen that look before. You've all seen that look. That look is, you better stop saying what you're saying right now. The line that you're going on needs to end this minute, or I'm coming at you. But Anderson did not stop.
Evil vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember,
Are these laugh lines?
Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on.
That was supposed to be a laugh line. The crowd crickets. You could hear a cricket fart in the back of the room. I'm telling you.
They didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw was about 2%. And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
I'm sorry, what? Hold on a second. I'm actually proud of her for acknowledging this. Because when I went down to the border, I saw sections of walls, and they named the sections of wall after the president that was in office during that time. And I mean, there's everything. There's a Clinton part of the wall, there's a W part of the wall, there's a Reagan part of the wall. They've all built wall. And I think very few people know that. I didn't know that before I went to the border. I had no idea that there was an Obama section of border wall. I had no idea that there was a Clinton, that there was a W, that there was a Reagan. I had no idea. Yeah.
You're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America.
Okay, I get it. And that's wonderful to say. It truly is. I'm not mad at saying that. I'm not mad at saying working across the aisle and working with the other side. I'm not mad at that. Because if that's true, if that's something that can happen, I'm all about it. What I'm upset about is not admitting, or at least acknowledging, that in that desire for the Congress to do something, that 10 to 15 million people came here uninvited. That's damn. It's probably good to recognize that. Almost the same. We're going to get into grocery prices and all that she was asked about a little bit earlier. But I'm telling you this, Wouldn't it be nice to have somebody like it? I think she would win tons of votes if she just very simply says, yes, too many people came here illegally and under our administration, they did. And we need to figure this out. Wouldn't that be great? Because I'd be like, hey, you know, you're right. We do. Thank you for admitting that. Wonderful. Yes. Let's keep going. This large portion of the border wall was sold for scrap iron. Yes, that is true. Actually, I spoke with the contractor, that the metal contractor for the walls, and he said we were shut down in one day, and they sold everything that I put down there. But I mean, he was paid for it. It's fine. But I mean, at the same time, it was like, yep, it's not there. Yes. Now the border's broken, right? Oh, hey, now we got that. Let's continue, please.
Has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it. People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is the most important point that can be made.
She's saying exactly what she should say, and I commend her for saying that, because she's saying exactly what we all should say, yet not acknowledging where's the 10 to 15 million. What do we do with the 10 to 15 million people that didn't do what you just said?
Which is we need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on this? Let's just fix the problem.
If there's an ideological, okay, so what, as a parent, I have a problem with that. As a dad, I have a problem with that, because I wouldn't accept that from my kids. I don't think any of you would accept that either. If you come home and your kids are having a party with 30 people and they're tearing up your house, they're destroying your house, and then you show up and say, we need to deal with all of these people in the house, and your kid looks at you and says, no, dad, we just need to fix the problems and all the stuff that was broken. That's all we need to do is fix it. That's all we need to do is fix it. No, what do we do with these 30 people in our house? I'm not going to accept that from my kid. Here we go. She continues.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense, because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right?
Wow. What happened was,
we just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
Strengthen. Why do you want to strengthen it? You said it was secure. What are you talking about? Again, if they just go with the old playbook, keep someone locked up, don't let them debate, don't let them do interviews, just do that, she'd win in a landslide. Okay. Now they actually let let's stick actually with Anderson here.
2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Nope. Numbers kept going up.
Yep.
Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
That's a great question.
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson.
Good job, Anderson. Again, my man's coming around. I'm telling you, he's coming around.
And as of
I'm a huge fan of this guy. He's coming around.
Today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration.
But if
is
it was
low.
that easy
On,
with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a.
I say this, Queen Bee can actually back me on this. I always say hope is not a strategy. It's one of the best books I ever read. Hope is not a strategy. So when you say, oh, we were hoping for 2 years that something would happen. No. I need strategy. I need a plan. So when the claim is made that illegal immigration has been cut in half over the past 6 months or the past 8 months, I forget what the exact total there. She's right in saying that. She's correct. Yeah, it's kind of right. It's kind of hard to hear. right? That no, illegal immigration has been cut by this administration in the past 8 months. It's been cut in half. Here's how it happened. The CB1 app. So there was an app that was given to coyotes, cartels, whatever, an app that was handed to these migrants coming up to the border. And they can make an appointment. I've made an appointment. Rob made an appointment. We went through the app. We walked through it. It's very simple. And now you are, when you get to Border Patrol, no matter where you are on the border, when you get to Border Patrol, you show them your appointment. You have an appointment. That is no longer considered illegal crossing. You're admitted into the United States. You're given a 5-year work visa, and your hearing is 5 years from now. But now here it is. That's legal, and they're right in saying that. They're correct in saying that. Some people say, no, the numbers are still the same. Okay, the numbers of bodies coming over are still the same, but they've cut the number of bodies coming over illegally in half by making an app, giving them that app, and they can now come legally to seek asylum. So I know everybody getting your torches and pitchforks. She's lying. No, she's not lying. That's God's honest truth. That's how it's the truth.
Long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well,
good job, Anderson. That's right. Why couldn't you have done both at the same time?
here's the thing. We have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action.
The follow-up there, I'm not discrediting Anderson for not following up there, but my follow-up would simply be, weren't you a member of Congress for how many years? If you're waiting for congressional action, I mean, we can do that with Roe, we can do that with immigration, we can do that with anything. There's a rule book, there's a strategy book, there's a playbook that is designed by our framers to make all of this happen. Create a law. You make laws. And then those get passed and those get negotiated and they get sent to the president and they get signed and it's law. So when it comes to all of that and any kind of argument that they would have on, I was waiting for Congress to do this and that. Well, y'all were part of Congress. I mean, I understand how irrelevant to this discussion that our current president is right now, because it's basically a lame duck kind of thing. He's not, he's not going to be around, calling for locking Donald Trump up. But dude, you were a member of the Senate for 35 years. There should never have been we're waiting on Congress to do this when you were a member of that body for that long, for 3.5 decades. Yeah. No, Shelley, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But I'm saying that it can be counted as legal because it is done through a process and a court date is set. The clock is ticking at that point. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm saying that what she said is not wrong. What she said is not wrong because they are legal crossings now. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So what basically just preaching here is, if you're going to make an argument with any side, whether it's Democrats or independents or whatever it is, that we at least know the facts. Why you can say, and they can literally say that illegal border crossings have been cut in half. They have. The numbers of bodies have not been cut in half. But illegal border crossings, and I don't know about gotaways and all that, but have been cut in half. That's how they can say that. So just understand the argument. Let's continue.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than.
Oh wait, yeah, sorry, that was back to the wall. I apologize. We get to some questions from the audience.
You've been in the position of vice president for the past 4 years under the Biden administration.
True.
How can we expect you to deviate from the direction of that administration compared to your own? How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden's?
That's a great question, and thank you. Well, first of all,
I'm
my
going to butcher
administration
it.
will not be a continuation of the Biden administration.
Why?
I bring to this role my own ideas and my own experience. I represent a new generation of leadership on a number of issues and believe that we have to actually take new approaches. For example, what we talked about in terms of housing. My experience that leads to that priority includes what I did to take on the big banks around the foreclosure crisis.
Nobody took on big banks during the foreclosure crisis. Let's just talk about this, please. No one took on the big banks during the foreclosure crisis. As a matter of fact, we the people, paid for those banks to stay in business. Billions on top of billions of dollars to keep those banks in business. Nobody took on the banks. No one did. They all survived. They all got away with it. This is nobody. Anyway.
When I brought billions of dollars to homeowners that were the subject of predatory lending. I know what
Did y'all get a check? I didn't get a check.
homeownership means to the American people, not to mention what it meant to my mother, who worked very hard and
Here
saved
we
up
go.
so that by the time I was a teenager,
Middle
she was
class
able to buy
family.
our first home. I bring to it my experience actually taking care of my mother when she was sick, and it was, as it turned out, dying from cancer. And so I know what it means and have the experience of taking care of an elderly relative, and
What does
I have
that
raised
to do
children.
with- what does that have to do with it? Okay, we've gone from the question of how are you different than the Biden administration to I took care of my mom when she was sick and dying of cancer to kind of choke out some tears. Are you, please, again, just be straight with us. Be straight with us. Look, here's what it is. The Biden administration understood that having Kamala Harris as their vice president, it posed an opportunity for them to placate to their base. And here's what that meant. That meant that we now call it the Biden-Harris administration. It's a teamwork now. Never in recorded history has an administration been a president, vice president name administration. Hasn't been. Sorry. Wasn't the Clinton-Gore administration. It was the Clinton administration. Wasn't the Obama-Biden administration. The Obama administration. Wasn't the W. Cheney administration. It was the W administration. It was the Bush administration. This was an opportunity to say, look, we're a team. This is the Biden-Harris administration. Okay. If that's the card you want to play, rock on. Hell yeah. But you can't afterwards say I'm different and I'm not part of the administration when you claim I would have done nothing different, as she said on The View. I would do nothing different. And I was in the room for every decision. You can't say you're going to not be a continuation of that administration. If she is not, it's going to be a far left version of that administration. So please, that's what I did with housing, because I come from a middle class. Nope. Doesn't work that way anymore. Let's get back to Anderson.
There's something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I love this. What a great question. You know, basically that's a solid interview question. That is Anderson Cooper being Anderson Cooper. That is Anderson Cooper being who we know and want him to be. Well, we've known him since Channel 1 back in the day to now what we've always expected him to be. That is a fantastic question and an opportunity for any candidate to say, you know what? Holy crap, am I human? Let me tell you. I'm just like y'all. I make mistakes all the time. I try to learn from them. Here are a couple. Landslide victory. That's all. I mean, it's that easy to do.
I mean, I've made many mistakes.
Name them.
And they range from, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes.
But you haven't. This is another. Why? Y'all, the handlers need to just be, look, you're not going to talk about your time as a parent because you haven't been one. Please stop this.
Too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Oh That's a perfect freeze right there. I did that. I nailed that thing. That's a swoosh right there. Holy mackerel. Let's break that down real quickly. That last part. What mistakes have you made and what have you learned from them? She said her mistake is being over prepared. Her mistake is being well prepared for when you ask a question. If you see that smirk right there, you'll know that is just never ask me a question like that again. From the exit interviews that are public record, because this is a elected official, the exit interview of staff, because they were paid by tax dollars, the exit interviews are available to read of her entire staff. There were three that basically common denominators of all these. There are three common answers. One of those three where she gives soul crushing critiques or feedback. The most important one is she does not want to do the work for the job. She's lazy. And so to say that her biggest mistake or her biggest lesson learned was that she's over prepared. This is again, you can fact check me all you want on this. You can fact check me live, real time. Don't care. I researched this. I fact checked myself on this. State dinners and traveling abroad to meet with XYZ leader. Days before, actors are brought in to have a kind of a mock-up of the dinner and the meeting. Not kidding. So if that's your mistake, is being over prepared by how many hours of time to just get prepared for just a dinner? Truth be told, it was how she would act. You looked at, by the way, these are interviews of former staffers. I'm not making this up. It was how she would act 2-3 glasses of wine in. I know. Let's get back to it.
Eric, there are a number of issues that we need to address in terms of bringing down the cost of living. It includes what we need is a new approach that I bring to the issue.
Actually, let me give this Eric. Let me jump on this Eric thing over here. I believe it's probably more appropriate. Let's give this a try. Let's start here.
Have gone up quite a bit in the last 4 years, and some people blame former President Trump. Some people blame President Biden. Who would you say is correct? And what would you do to bring prices down for Americans?
Thank you, Eric. And you're absolutely right. You know it. I know it. I think most Americans know it. Price of groceries is still too high.
I'm Donald Trump, and I support this message. I'm not kidding. That should be the ad right there. Look, Queen Bee and I were talking about this last night, and she asked me my opinion. I'm not Warren Buffett, but I will give you my opinion on this. She said, why has this administration been saddled with the blame, essentially, for increase of prices? And what I came up with in my, I think I was a few IPAs in, but I think I came up with this. Everything in our economy starts with fuel. Everything does. There's nothing you're holding on to, nothing you're looking at right now, nothing that hasn't been impacted by the price of fuel, period. So it starts with that. It starts with the executive order of the Keystone XL pipeline. It starts with draining our strategic reserves. I mean, there's just so many pieces of this puzzle that have just jacked rates up of everything, because everything is more expensive, because it's more expensive to get everything to the manufacturer, then it's more expensive for the manufacturer to get to you. Period. That's it. I think that's it. And again, in these moments, if someone was well prepared to answer that like an adult, like you and I just had that conversation, wins in a landslide. Said, look, we did these executive orders up front, and we didn't understand that we're coming out of the pandemic, opening the economy again, letting people go back to work, this and that. And then on top of that, trying to save the environment because we believe that we're in an environmental crisis. Yeah, we probably would have backed that down a bit, and gas prices would have stayed where they were, would have helped prices. Say that. Why wouldn't you say that? I respect you more in screwing up as bad as you did. But you admit it and say, okay, I got this. I learned from my mistakes. I got it. And that's what Anderson was doing. Anderson was just tossing her a giant softball and saying, here you go. Knock this out of the park, please. And she started blaming Donald Trump and all this. Oh, here we go. Let's get back to what she's saying.
And we need to address it in a number of ways. One of my aspects of doing what we need to do to bring down the cost of living for working people and the middle class in America is to address the issue of grocery prices. Part of my background and how I come to it is probably a new approach, grounded in a lot of my experience.
No, it happened in Venezuela. It's not a new approach. Your approach is not a new approach. It's not scientific. It is price controls. That doesn't work.
This is as a former attorney general, where I took on price gouging. And part of my plan is to create a new approach that is the first time that we will have a national ban on price gouging.
There already is. I'm sorry. There are already laws against price gouging. In the majority of states, there are laws against price gouging. And every one of these answers, I would say, no one has followed up with, actually, several people, I apologize. Several people journalists have followed up with, okay, so is there examples of price gouging right now? And she's asked that question. She says, well, in North Carolina and in Florida and those that are hit by the hurricanes. Okay, they should all be rung up. Good. What's next? That's the same thing when it comes to the whole voter and election thing, right? Oh, there wasn't widespread fraud. There was fraud, but there wasn't widespread fraud. Great. Where in those instances that you found a fraud, who's in prison? Same question. Okay, you found price gouging in Florida and North Carolina, and okay, so who's in jail? Who's getting rung up? But you think that price gouging from a like you add $1 to fuel in certain cities when they're smashed by a hurricane, you think that's what drove my grocery prices to double? I also hear this argument. Inflation is down. No, inflation is not down. Inflation is not down at all. Inflation is up still 15% over prices. Excuse me. Prices are up 15%. The prices aren't coming down. The rate of increase is coming down. So when things are increasing at 20% and then they drop to 15%, they're still increasing at 15%. They're still increasing. But to say, oh, no, we've dropped the prices 5%. No, you haven't. You've dropped the increase, the rate of increase by 5%. Yeah. Price gouging, yeah, blame other people. Shelley, it's true. I remember back when they're like, oh, yeah, the mom and pop gasoline stations are driving the price of fuel up. No, actually, no, that's not. Let's continue. We have a lot to get through in just very, very little time. This is my favorite. I'm going to go
about rich people paying their fair share. Mm-hmm. Can you be more specific? Income taxes are already on a graduated scale, where the more you make, the higher percentage you pay in taxes.
Look at the confused look right there. She's right. We have a graduated scale of taxes. The more you make, the more you pay in taxes, period.
So the rich are paying a disproportionate amount in taxes as it is.
They are. And okay, so when she says the rich are paying a disproportionate amount as it is, true. And again, fact check me. I have zero problem with this. You can fact check me on the spot. I want you to understand this. The 1%, the top 1% of the earners pay 40% of our nation's income taxes. 40. 1% pays 40. There we go.
Over 40% of Americans don't pay any income tax.
And over 40% of Americans don't pay federal income tax. That is a fact. This part of her question. That's not me saying it. That's her saying it, and she's correct.
Taxes. Also, the really high earners may move their money offshore if there are disincentives in the U.S. This could impact the economy. I would like to hear more nuts and bolts about your economic plans.
Yeah, give me the
Sure.
nuts and
Thank you,
bolts,
Pam.
sister.
So first of all,
By thank you, Pam, she means sit the F down. Yeah.
it is the case in the United States of America that billionaires on average pay less taxes as a percentage.
I want you to hear what she's saying here. Please, we're not gonna just skim over this.
Billionaires on average pay
No, I
less
think she
taxes.
said it's a fact.
Sure. If
Here we
there are disincentives
wanna
in
get
the
her
U.S.,
correct,
this could
proper
impact the
quote.
economy. I would like to hear more nuts and bolts about your economic
Nuts and bolts.
plans.
Let's go.
Sure. Thank you, Pam. So first of all, it is the case in the United States of America
That is the case.
that
Okay.
billionaires on average pay less taxes
The billionaires pay less taxes. Okay.
as a percentage
As a percentage.
than teachers and firefighters and nurses.
Teachers, firefighters, and nurses. By the way, that is patently false. That is a lie. That is absolutely absurd. When you look at even Mark Cuban, who is backing her campaign, Mark Cuban paid $500 million in taxes. I don't know of a teacher or firefighter paying $500 million. Not even close. What they do is here's how they do, just so we're very clear in how they can make that statement. What they're saying is that Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos pay less as a percentage than teacher, firefighter, and police officer as a percentage of their net worth. So yes, if Mark Cuban pays $50 million in taxes, it was 50, not 500. It's $50 million in taxes on his $7 billion as a percentage of his $7 billion net worth. That percentage is less than Susie Educator, who paid $5,000 in taxes, and she's only worth 50 grand. Right? So that's how they say it. It is absolutely absurd to say that billionaires pay less in taxes than teachers and firefighters. It's absolutely absurd. And to me, from a campaign standpoint, come on. From a campaign standpoint, I'm like, hey, look, we aren't that dumb as an electorate. Here,
Talk
And
about
that-
hard workers like
yeah, I'm
Pound
talking about
Street
workers like me.
have some success.
Yes, no, I
Yes.
understand, but I want to just let's
Not
set
the
the
really high.
let's set the scene, right?
Yeah.
So when I say that the richest among us need to pay their fair share,
Okay.
I am referencing that, and I need to reference that because sadly, Donald Trump, when he was president, gave tax cuts to the richest, to billionaires and
By the way, when Trump was president, he donated his entire salary to veterans charities. All $400,000 went to veterans charities every single year.
big corporations, which added trillions of dollars to our deficit. So that
Not even
sadly
close.
needs to be said in a way that should be.
Okay, so after those tax breaks, so we're very clear. Again, go ahead. You can challenge me all you want, and we're running out of time here, so we might just carry this to tomorrow. And Greg, I am going to get to your question about the Second Amendment. We'll carry this to tomorrow because it's important, especially that point right there. The tax cuts to billionaires led to a deficit of our nation. No. Government spending led to the deficit. But I want you to understand this. After the 2017 tax cuts were in play, so in 2018. Or 16 to 7. No, I think it was 17 to 18. That's where we're going there. The IRS had record revenue. So saying that tax cuts to rich people is what she claims. Tax cuts to rich people led to a deficit. It couldn't be more patently false because after the tax cuts went into play, the IRS made more money than they've ever made ever. Again, you can fact check me on that. Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. Ella Drill. Okay. You are a poor basic grammar. I have. You have a platform, so do better. Try not to embarrass yourself so much. Okay. Thank you. I will strive to do better. I appreciate that. No, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to be me. That's fine. Yes, I have applied for him. That's great. Apparently I don't have a grasp of the English language. We'll talk to him about 2 brain surgeries a little bit later and how proud I am that I can speak. So yeah, kick rocks. So this will continue tomorrow. And again, Greg, I definitely want to get to it. And just so you guys knew what I'm talking about, I think is a good question, especially from a Canadian. In a perfect two-way world, what percentage of gun laws and BS regulations could be eliminated? So I will talk about that tomorrow, as well as the rest of this town hall, because I think it's something that we should talk about. And I got to go take apparently Hooked on Phonics or grammar lessons or something like that. We'll work it out. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow right here at noon on In Other News. I'm your host, Mike Russell. Have a great